Hi y'all. I am making Thai coconut soup this evening. It's a new one for me, so hopefully it'll turn out great. I'm afraid it might be a little bit too spicy for me to eat, but I know Bob would love that. So anyhow, I'm going to try it. We'll see what happens. Anyhow, to start with, I put a tablespoon of olive oil in my Dutch oven here, and I'm going to saute a half of an onion, which works out, it's about a half a cup is what it was. So I'm just going to dump that in here. Get it all in there. And then I've also chopped up 2 big red bell peppers. So it made a lot, and that's going to be sauteing in here as well. We're just going to cook these until they're tender. But I also took 1 really large carrot, peeled it, cut it into 2-inch sections, and then sliced it really thin into little strips. So you can see they're just like little 2-inch, very thin strips of carrot. So those are going in here as well. So this has to saute now for about 6 to 8 minutes until it gets tender. So I'm going to get that started, and I will get back with you. Okay, y'all, I'm back. I wanted you to see down in this pot. Let me bring you over here. Look how pretty this is. It's so colorful. And you can see the onions have turned translucent, so I think that's about as good as this is going to get for right now. Or it's as good as we need it to be. So I'm going to go ahead now and add in the other ingredients. So we've got, the next thing I need to add in is some garlic. So I've got 1 teaspoon of garlic measured out here, and that's just minced garlic. I'm going to just stir that in so we can smell it really good. It doesn't take long when you've got a hot pan like this. Oh yeah, that smells really good. All right, and now I'm going to add in some curry powder. This is just, your regular curry powder. And this is a tablespoon of curry powder. That's going to really add a different flavor to it. And I don't usually cook with unusual ingredients. Typically I just use what I can find in my pantry, but I had to go find this in the grocery store. It's called roasted red chili paste. I just wanted you to see that because it calls for a teaspoon of that in this recipe. So it's very thick. So I'm just going to stir that all in really good. Boy, you can smell that curry. All right, now I'm going to add in 3 cups of chicken broth. And then the other unusual ingredient that it calls for, which I don't usually have in my pantry, is coconut milk. And this, you have to really shake it good first, and I've been shaking this can now while all that was cooking. So hopefully it's mixed up well, because it tends to separate when it sits in the can. So let me see if I can get it open here. Oh, goodness gracious. There we go. It looks like milk. So there we go. That'll give it a real creamy look and taste. So now I just have to bring this up to a simmer, and then we're going to add in the chicken and some basil. And then the very last thing we add is some, believe it or not, this also I did not have in my pantry, but it was a staple at one time, is some ramen noodles. So not with the flavor packet, but just the actual noodles. That's what will be added at the very end. So anyhow, I'm gonna let you see how this looks right now. Come on over here and take a look. You can see it looks pretty creamy. I love the little red flakes in there. It's gonna be a pretty soup, at least I hope it'll taste good. Anyhow, I'll get back with y'all as soon as this comes up to a simmer and we can add the other ingredients. I'll talk to you in a little bit. Okay, I'm back and it is simmering. I may need to turn this light off so y'all can see better. Okay, let me bring you over. You can see it's simmering nicely. Got it on low. And now I'm going to add in a cup of shredded chicken. And I'm going to put a third of a cup of fresh basil. Now, I don't know if you've worked with fresh basil before, but I went out and picked a whole big bunch of basil off my plants. And I thought I'd picked way too much because I thought it was at least a cup. But when I chopped it all down, I've got like a third of a cup, which is what the recipe calls for. So I'm going to put that in there now too. And some of you may ask me if you can use dried basil. I'm assuming that you can, but I don't really know what the proportions would be. Oh wow, that really smells good. Anyhow, that's the basic soup right here. And then the thing that we're going to add last is some noodles. And the noodles are the ramen noodles that I showed you. And I've just taken them out of the pack and taken that little flavor packet that was in there, that happened to be the chicken flavor I'd bought. And we're going to just get rid of that. We'll use it for something else. But this is what we're going to put in there. And I'm assuming that I need to break these up a little bit instead of just having one big chunk. So, not easy to do. Maybe I will just put it all in one chunk. Okay, the whole chunk is going in here. And as it cooks, it'll tear apart. So it says to cook it for about 3 to 5 minutes until those noodles are just al dente. So we'll see how that goes. But I can't wait to taste this and see how it tastes. My daughter sent me the recipe from a friend of hers, and they said it was delicious. So I'm hoping it is. If not, I'll be thinking of something else for dinner. Anyhow, I'll be back with you in a little bit. All right, y'all, that soup is done. And here it is. Just want you to see. I did wind up going in here and pulling up some of the noodles like that, and then just chopping them with my scissors so they wouldn't be so long. I think next time I'll try to bust them up with a little mallet or something before I put them in there so that they're not so long. But anyhow, live and learn. So I've already scooped up some for me to taste. So I can't wait to taste this. Well, I can get a noodle on here. All right, hold on a second. This noodle is trying to, there. That's pretty good. And it's not super spicy. I thought it would be really peppery hot, but it's not. It just has a nice flavor to it. So y'all try this. It's really good. I'm going to finish this little cup, and then we'll save the rest to have for dinner tonight. Anyhow, I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all have a great Sunday evening. Bye-bye.